The only thing I enjoy more than messing around with fun new guitar chords and progressions is coming home after a long day, spinning my office chair around, and seeing a creepy Muppet version of myself that a friend of mine found and planted in there to actually make my heart skip a beat. So the way I'm going to wind down is by sharing some guitar information with you guys. So this is going to be an interesting way to use the chords in the key of E major to make any chord progression way easier, okay? Now, I think we can all agree that the chords in the key of C major and the chords in the key of G major are the ones that always get used, right? Like if you see anything with the capo, it's usually like a capo on the 5th fret, and then you use the chords in the key of C, whatever, right? E major is very underrated in a non-blues context. I feel like, like that kind of stuff, everybody uses E major for. So real quick, we're gonna go through a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression in the key of E major, show you how you can use it in a bunch of different keys, and I really think this tip is gonna help a lot of people, all right? So a 1, 5, 6, 4 is we're just taking this as a random chord progression because it is one of the most popular chord progressions ever. In the key of E major, it would be a 1, E major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 would be, E, F, G, A, B. If we're not skipping the sharps and flats. B major would be there. So 1, 5, 6, C sharp minor, 4, A major. Not the easiest chord progression to get around, right? So there's really one super easy trick that we can do. And it starts with this, right? So we got this open E major chord, open, 2, 2, 1, open, open. All right? Now, real quick, just to break this down, the top 3 strings are G sharp, a B, and an E. You can play E major just like this, just using the 1st fret on the G string, open B, and open E. That's all you really need. This is just an extra dressing on the cake. Is that a saying? Am I confusing my sayings? Yeah, we don't really need that, but the cool thing is having an E major on top sounds great, even with other chords. The first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna lift up your middle finger, and then we're gonna use the A string, open A now, as the bass note in this A major chord, okay? Now really quick, this is just a 1 to a 4. All right, now the people who love to flame me all the time be like, well, you're just trying to trick us into learning A major 7 chords again. Yes, I am. But the nice thing is, it's such an easy move. All you do is you lift your middle finger up, and then you just focus on hitting that A string, right? E, A. Okay, so a 1 to a 4. Now we could go do this, back to that B major to go to the 5 chord, and again, like if we're going right 1 to 5, that's tough. Nobody likes playing B major as a bar chord, right? B major might be the most hated of all chords, which is funny. It's actually one of my favorite keys to play in. But yeah, people viscerally hate the B major bar chord. Guess what? You never have to do it again. We're just gonna do this. Okay? This is your new B major chord. Now, a lot of people out there are gonna be like, what have you done? What is this? First you try to trick us using a major 7 chord, then you give us the most gnarliest reach. I'll admit, this is kind of a messed up looking guitar chord if you're a beginner, but stick with it because there's a way you can use this in a much easier way, right? So all I did was took my ring finger off, and my pinky now is grabbing the 4th fret on the D string, okay? Now my root note is 2 on the A string, which is a B, right? So again, this is a different kind of voicing for a B major. We got an open B string right there. Sounds great. We got a G sharp in there too. Oh my gosh, we're having such a blast playing guitar. Some people call this B major 6. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's just a way to go from 1 to 5. Super easy, all right? And again, 1 to 5, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. It's the 5 chord, right? 1 to 5. You can play a million songs using a 1, 5, 6, 4. Now the next question you probably have is like, oh, the 6. Now you're gonna teach us an easy way to play C sharp minor, the 2nd most hated chord in all of music? Huh, yeah, check it out. Oh, there it is. Look at that little switch. You just swap your pinky and your middle finger, or if you're like an actual savage and you wanna do it like this, that's, you're beyond you're beyond watching intermediate YouTube videos for that. This little swap, every time I want to say swap and switch, I just think in my mind to say swip. And that's dumb. That's like something that Muppet of myself would say in my nightmares. I can't. That's not a joke, by the way. I know I used it as an intro joke. When I saw that Muppet sitting in my chair, my heart skipped a beat, and I might have to go to the hospital still tonight. And I know Davi's Das did it. Thanks, Davi, for that. Appreciate you. So 1, 5, 6, 4. How easy is that? Your pointer finger stays anchored to this G sharp note the entire time. The 1 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, and then the 4 chord, right? So open 2, 2, 1, and again, the entire time we do all this stuff, the bottom 3 strings are gonna be 1, open, open. So it's open 2, 2, E on top for the 1 chord, 5 chord is, we're skipping the E string now, 2, 4, 1, open, open. We swip it for the 6 chord, 4, 2, 1, and then just take it off, open 2, 1, right? Just a city boy, born and raised in the sound of joy. Every song, all those dumb pop songs that we'll learn 100 pop songs in a minute. It's that same chord progression: 1, 5, 6, 4. Okay. Now again, you can make it fancier. I personally like playing the 4 chord like this, where I grab my ring finger and grab the 2nd fret on the B string to get that right there. But the more important thing is, this is a really easy way to play the main chords from a singer-songwriter standpoint or an accompanying guitar standpoint. A lot of like the hits that people want to hear, like shows where you're maybe doing covers and stuff, can really be played quite simply with this. Now, I say simply, I'm not taking for granted that this is a very interesting chord for, you know, a lot of intermediate players to go for. That's why we've got a capo, guys. Boom, capo 3rd fret. Well, first, let's do a capo 5th fret first, all right? So now, this is the key of A major. I'm using the E chords in the key of A major. The reason that works is because the capo is snapped right here on the 5th fret. I put my E major shape, but what's really happening is like I'm barring the 5th fret. So now these would be the A major chord shapes, but using that same 1, 5, 6, 4. So now, in the key of A major, these actual chords are gonna be A major as the 1 chord, E major as the 5 chord, A, B, C sharp, D, E, right? And then F sharp major, D major, 7 is the 4 chord, right? And again, even though maybe those are chords that you already are really familiar with, this is like a cool register that you can explore instead of just always, you know, using the same old chord shapes. So there's actually a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with this, right? Like instead of, for example, let's do a 1, 5, 6, 4, capo 5 in the key of A, right? So 1, 5, 6, 4. Now you can do this in a different key. Let's go capo 2nd fret, and now let's use the key of G chords to play that same chord progression. 1 in the key of G is G major, 5 is D, 6 is E minor, 4 is C. Which again, those are the exact same chords I played using a capo and my knowledge of chord shapes as a collective key to move around and get a different vibe. 1, 5, 6, 4, which definitely sounds different than 1, 5, 6, 4. Okay, I really think this is very valuable in like finger pick stuff. Now, when you have that kind of playing style, I do feel like what is on top of a chord and like just the voicings matter so much more, right? Which, you know, if I'm playing in this key, Those are the same chords, but I'm playing them in a different way, so it does have a different vibe, okay? So that's why I think it is so super important to just learn these chord shapings just as clusters of chords that you can move around and play in any key. In fact, the whole reason I was even doing this is because for my personal guitar playing, I keep my guitar tuned down into C-sharp standard, so a full step and a half down just because this is better in my vocal range. It just kind of extends the guitar. I don't use that guitar or have that guitar tuning in the lessons usually because it's just so confusing talking about, you get it. You just want to use standard tuning because most people are in standard tuning. But if there's certain songs that I really want to play in C-sharp standard, but it's like, all right, well, this doesn't sound anything like it, so maybe if I actually just put a capo on the 2nd fret and then I use these chords, it sounds more like that tuning. So knowing chord clusters and how to get around them in different keys with the use of the capo, not as a crutch, but as a way to kind of like, take all be like, oh, I've got this group of chords in my back pocket. You want something to maybe sound different, stick out a little bit. Use that E major chord stuff where, maybe it's like I just got a capo on the 6th fret, and now I'm playing the E major chords. Gives you a different register to play in maybe. The notes on top are sounding off differently. And everyone's just having a good time. And nobody's traumatized from having a Muppet of themselves just surprise pop up when you spin a chair around. Probably for the rest of my life, every time I spin a chair around. Not like there's a lot of moments where I dramatically spin a chair around. I would actually personally like there to be more, if we're being honest. But now I'm always going to think of it. Why is its mouth open like that? Why is it stuck? You guys have no idea how cursed this Muppet is. I buried it deep in that cabinet for a reason. Oh, man. Anyways, there's no sponsor for a video today other than my Patreon. How about that? Sign up for my Patreon, guys. That's what's up. You can also buy a sick Martin guitar. Did I mention I have a signature Martin guitar that you can get? I'll link that too. I don't have it yet. The prototype is being held at the museum. But I promise you guys, it's not this weird fever dream I'm having. I have a signature Martin guitar that you can pre-order. It's going to be here in like 2 weeks, from what I've been told. So get ready for just a huge amount of shameless flexing when that shows up to make myself get over the trauma. Again, sign up for the Patreon if you want to help me get over trauma, because nothing helps trauma more than money. Not medical advice, just so we're clear on that. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon.